Hello there, subjects of the Empire. This is Eye on the Empire, where we review old Republic holo transmissions once thought lost in time, now intercepted and decoded by our agents from the Imperial Security Bureau. Today's report is on the 8th and hopefully last episode of the Acolyte. Before we get started, this report and all of these reports might contain spoilers. I guess we knew how this was going to turn out. For that comment about no Sith in 1,000 years, remarked in the Phantoms, for that to be true, that means that everyone in this series who knew otherwise either had to die or agreed to keep it all a secret. The lead characters, for the most part, acted in a believable manner. Some of the timing may have been sped up. Under the circumstances of how things unfolded, I understand why May would kill Sol after she learned that he killed her mother. I also accept that she would get over the deaths of those other Jedis who were friendly to her, and accept the Sith guy as her teacher, provided the show gave enough time for those things to happen. Here, she just spends one afternoon hanging around hunky Sith guy, and that's enough time for all this. The Jedi in this show are clearly the bad guys. During the original trilogy, we're told that the Jedis are guardians of peace and justice during the Old Republic. Their downfall was because one of their own turned against them. In the prequels, we see that the Jedi's problem is their own hubris. They've grown too confident after generations of peace. They couldn't see the danger standing right beside them. This Jedi Order, in the movies, is clearly a force of good, but as Luke Skywalker said in Return of the Jedi, your overconfidence is your weakness. Actually, he said that to the Emperor, but the same applies to the Jedis in the prequels. Here, in the Acolyte, we see that the Jedi are basically corrupt. I would almost compare them to how people see police in real life. How many times have you heard a news story like this? A police officer shoots the wrong person. The other cops on the scene plant a real gun. A cover-up to protect a good cop who made a mistake. And more importantly, to protect the police department. That's what happens with the Jedis in this show. Sol made a mistake with tragic results. The right thing to do, after failing so bad, is to accept the consequences, but Jedi Master Trinity convinces the rest of them to lie about what happened. For what reason? To protect Osha from suffering even more. Also, to protect their jobs, and to protect the Jedi Order itself. That's the same motivation that Green Lady has when she covers up their cover-up with another cover-up. She must protect the Jedi Order, their reputation in the Republic, even if it means bearing the truth and placing all the blame on Sol. I wouldn't call Sol an evil character. He definitely suffers from self-righteousness. Green Lady, on the other hand, is someone who I would call evil. She knows before she takes these actions that what she's about to do isn't very Jedi-like. How did Senator Palpatine gain power within the Senate? Through Machiavellian politics. Green Lady is doing the same thing when it comes to protecting the Order. I'm not against the idea that the Jedis weren't as good as we thought they were. I just don't think this is a series for that. Storytelling of that nature is for a more serious TV show, and The Acolyte isn't that type of a show. To further show the wickedness of Green Lady, look at the scene with her and the senator guy. He's here because he heard rumors of a murder investigation that wasn't reported to the Senate. Green Lady is all like, we're keeping it internal. Nothing serious. It's only a few victims. Senator guy's like, only a few victims, you've got a serial killer on loose, and you don't think that's not serious enough to tell the Senate? You know what? This proves my point that maybe we in the Senate should review the Jedi's role. Your Jedi is a unchecked political body posing as a religion, a delusional cult who think they control their emotions, something that is uncontrollable. And you know what? He's totally right. She's so in control of her emotions that she ends the conversation by using the Force to open the door for him. What a good use of the Force. Using it to intimidate her critics. In conclusion, this show was a wasted opportunity. On paper, it had a good premise. Most of Disney's Star Wars shows start off with a good idea, and they fail to execute those ideas. I wonder how much of it is the showrunner's fault, and how much of it is just mandates from up high. With the exception of Andor, all these Disney shows look and feel the same. How did Andor manage to do it? The Acolyte. I didn't really hate the show, I didn't really like the show. Some parts were good, or at least good in theory, but it would often be ruined by just these stupid things. Most people groaned at the witch's musical dance number and the little rat guy, Xanax. But nobody working on the show or executives at Disney had problems with these things. Nobody said, I think we should reshoot this scene. Or perhaps Disney has some sort of strict no reshooting policy when it comes to Disney Plus. Until the next series.